One of the most important things you can do to prepare for your upcoming PMP exam is to do as many practice questions as possible. So in this video, we are going to do 10 simple questions to help you prepare for your upcoming exam. And now, if you want to pass your exam on your first try, be sure to check out our free course at www.examspm.com/free. Now let's jump into question number 1. I'm going to read out the question to you, then feel free to pause this video and come out with the answer and see if you got the correct answer. So question number 1, you are working on a project at a client's site. While working on your project, you stumble into a possible flaw in the design of a project that was completed 6 months ago. This project was also managed by a representative of your organization. No one else is aware of this possible flaw, and you do not believe any problem will be apparent for another 2 years. In this situation, what should you do? A, do nothing because the project is complete. B, notify your management, both orally and in writing. C, notify the customer directly. Or D, take steps to ensure this type of problem does not occur in your project. So pause this video right now and see which one is the correct answer. If you said B, you are correct. So when you read questions that are situational like these, I know that some may say that both B and C could be correct because in a real life situation, couldn't you notify your management and your customer? And this is correct. So when it comes to situational questions like this, you have to think to yourself, what should you do first? And when you add that first, the word first into this sentence, it makes more sense to notify your management first than your customer first. So when you're presented with situational questions and you have multiple answers that could all be correct, just think to yourself, which one of these actions should you do first? Now let's go on to question number 2. You have been assigned to a new project and have finished the scope statement. You and your team are now going to work on the work breakdown structure. You are spending a lot of time discussing how to create a complete decomposed work breakdown structure. Which of the following is least relevant for this discussion? Is it A, the status and completion is measurable? B, time-cost is easily estimated? C, start and end events are clearly defined? Or D, resource availability can be reliably foreseen? Now pause this video and take a moment to answer this question. If you said D, you are correct, because when you are decomposing the work at the scope management stage, you are not taking a look at which resources are available. You are assuming that all resources are available to you whenever you need it at this stage. Now let's go to question number 3. A risk management plan should be tailored for each project in what way? A, some company use predefined templates for risk management plans. B, certain companies have predefined roles and responsibility as they relate to risk management. C, the risk management plan should ensure that the level and type of risk management efforts are appropriate to the level of risk and the importance to the project and the company. Or D, some organizations have predefined risk management policies that must be tailored to an individual project. Pause this video now and answer this question. If you said C, you are correct. The risk management plan should ensure that the level and the type of risk management efforts are appropriate for the level, risk, and importance of the project to the company. Question number 4, you are in a meeting with 4 of your subordinates. How many communication channels are there? Is it A, 4 communication channels, B, 8 communication channels, C, 10 communication channels, or D, 16 communication channels. So take out your calculator and compute this calculation on communication channels now. On your PMP exam, you will always get a multiple choice question with 4 possible answers, and you do have access to a Windows-based calculator to help you out with calculation questions like these. And if you answered C for this question, you are correct. Recall that the formula to calculate the number of communication channels is n times n minus 1 divided by 2. And since in this situation, you are in a meeting with 4 of your subordinates, there are 5 people here in general. So 5 times 5 minus 1 divided by 2 gets you 5 times 4, which is 20 divided by 2. And this equals out to 10 communication channels. Question 5, a seller is working on a cost reimbursable contract when the buyer decides he would like to expand the scope of the service and change to a fixed price contract. The seller's options include A, completing the original work on the cost reimbursable basis and then negotiating a fixed price for the additional work. B, completing the original work and rejecting additional work. Or C, negotiating a fixed price contract that includes all of the work. Or D, all of the above. Please pause for a second and answer question 5. This question belongs to the procurement management section, and if you said D, you are correct because the seller can do any of the options listed above. Question number 6, in examining the progress of our project, you determine that the actual cost of the work that have been performed so far is $67,000. The earned value of the work is $55,000. Given this, what is your CPI? And CPI stands for Cost Performance Index. This is another one of those math questions that you may see on your exam. Is it A, 0.82, B, 0, C, 1, or D, 1.21? Pause this video and compute this calculation. If you said A, you are correct. So the formula for cost performance index is EV, or earned value, divided by the actual cost. So in this case, it is 55,000 divided by 67,000, and this gives us 0.82. Moving on to question number 7. You have asked 2 different individuals for an estimated duration of a task. Your manager stated it will take 8 days. The new developer says it will take 18 days, but based on your experience of having seen this many times in the past, you feel it most likely will take 11 days. You decide to employ the 3-point estimation technique. What is the output of this estimate? Is it A, 10.25 days, B, 11.67 days, C, 12.33 days, or D, 16.67 days? If you said B, you are correct, because recall the formula for calculating the most likely days is using the optimistic estimation plus 4 times the most likely estimation plus the pessimistic estimation and dividing this by 6. This is also called the PERT technique. So in this case, what you want to do is do 8, which is the optimistic number of days to complete this task, plus 4 times 11, because 11 is the most likely, then plus 18, which is the worst case scenario, and you divide all of that by 6. And so in other words, you do 70 divided by 6, which gets you to 11.67. Moving on to question number 8. When preparing to implement quality control on your project, all of the following should be considered except for what? Is it A, inspection over prevention, B, customer satisfaction, C, management responsibilities, or D, continuous improvement? Pause this video for a second and come out with the answer. If you said A, you are correct. Inspection over prevention. This is done in the plan quality management stages. Since you're already implementing the quality control, you're no longer inspecting it anymore. So this A is the correct answer. Question number 9. You work in a matrix organization. You are discouraged by the fact that many members of your project team are not aware of the progress of the project until it is discussed in your status meeting. Which team development approach would best resolve the situation? Is it A, training, B, recognition and rewards, C, co-location, or D, a team building event? Please pause the video now and come out with the answer for question 9. So question 9 belongs into resource management section of the PMBOK guide. And if you answered C, you are correct. Co-location is when you get all members of your team in the same location so that people can see face to face and collaborate easily. This will eliminate a lot of miscommunication that could occur on your project. Lastly, we have question number 10. During the execution of a project, the project manager determines that a change is needed to material purchased for the project. The project manager has to pull the team together for a meeting to discuss how to handle this change. This is an example of A, management by objective, B, lack of change control system, C, progressive elaboration, or D, lack of clear work breakdown structure. If you said A, lack of change control system, you are correct, because if the project manager has a change control plan in place, he or she would not need to pull the entire team together on a last minute meeting to figure out what the change is and what they should do in this case. Okay, so that is 10 practice questions for you to give you a sample of what you might see on your upcoming PMP exam. If you enjoy this and if you are looking to pass your PMP exam on your first try, please be sure to check out our free course at www.examspm.com/free. And I look forward to seeing you there and teaching you more about how to pass this certification.